Switzerland, the country the world was taught to trust. Clean streets, perfect trains, snow-covered mountains, luxury watches, secret banks. For decades, Switzerland sold itself as neutral, peaceful, untouched by war. But hidden beneath those beautiful mountains was a secret so disturbing that even Holocaust survivors spent half a century fighting to uncover it. Because while Europe burned during World War II, gold kept arriving in Switzerland. Not just ordinary gold, gold linked to Nazi Germany, gold taken from invaded nations, gold seized from terrified families, gold stripped from people who would never come home again. And according to investigations that exploded decades later, Swiss banks allegedly held on to enormous amounts of Nazi-linked wealth while hiding behind one phrase: banking privacy. But the deeper people looked into the story, the darker it became. During World War II, Nazi Germany needed money to keep the war machine alive. Weapons cost money, fuel cost money, international trade cost money, and Germany needed countries willing to deal with them financially. Switzerland became one of the most important financial centers in Europe during the war, right in the middle of chaos, right beside Nazi-controlled territory, officially neutral. But neutrality did not stop business. Trains carrying valuables crossed borders. Financial transactions continued. Gold entered Swiss vaults while much of Europe was collapsing into destruction. And here is where the story becomes chilling. Historians and investigators later discovered that some of the gold traded through Nazi Germany had horrifying origins. Some came from occupied national banks. Some came from countries invaded by the Nazis. And some was allegedly taken directly from Holocaust victims themselves. Families forced from homes, communities erased, people sent to camps, their valuables confiscated, wedding rings, necklaces, coins, gold teeth, everything taken, then melted down, recast into gold bars, and moved through the financial system. Imagine that for a second. A family disappears during the Holocaust, and decades later, investigators are tracing their stolen wealth into international banking networks. That is why this scandal shocked the world. Because Switzerland was not seen as a battlefield. It was seen as civilized, safe, untouchable. While bombs destroyed cities across Europe, Swiss banks remained standing, calm, organized, profitable. And according to critics, that stability came with moral silence. Now, to be fair, Switzerland has long argued that its wartime position was extremely complicated. The country was surrounded by Axis powers. Its leaders feared invasion, and Swiss officials maintained that neutrality was necessary for survival. But critics asked a different question. Even if survival was necessary, at what point does neutrality become cooperation? That question exploded decades after the war ended. Because after World War II, survivors began trying to reclaim money and assets left in Swiss accounts by murdered relatives. Many families believed parents, grandparents, or relatives had deposited money in Swiss banks before the Holocaust. But when survivors went searching for those accounts, some claimed they hit a wall. Banks allegedly demanded impossible paperwork, death certificates from people murdered in concentration camps, documents from families wiped out during the war, proof that often no longer existed. Some survivors spent years trying to recover family assets. Others died before seeing answers. And then things got even worse. Because investigators and journalists started uncovering evidence suggesting that Swiss banks had not fully disclosed wartime accounts and gold dealings for decades. The world slowly realized this was not just about money. It was about memory, justice, and whether powerful institutions had hidden uncomfortable truths behind secrecy laws. In the 1990s, the scandal exploded internationally. American politicians got involved. Jewish organizations demanded investigations. Historians dug through old archives. The media began exposing hidden wartime banking records. And suddenly, Switzerland's carefully protected image started cracking. The peaceful nation known for luxury and discretion was now facing accusations tied to one of history's greatest crimes. Television stations covered the story nonstop. Reporters gathered outside major Swiss banks. Survivors told emotional stories publicly. Some cried while describing decades of frustration. Others said they felt ignored, abandoned, buried beneath paperwork and silence. Then came one of the biggest turning points. Investigations revealed that Swiss banks had indeed handled enormous quantities of Nazi gold during the war, and public outrage grew rapidly. People began asking, How much did Switzerland really know? How much wealth passed through those vaults? And why did it take 50 years for the world to fully confront it? Under international pressure, major Swiss banks eventually agreed to massive settlements with Holocaust survivors and their families. Billions of dollars were set aside. But for many people, the money was never the full issue, because no payment could reverse what happened. No settlement could return destroyed families. And no bank account could measure the human cost behind that gold. That is what makes this story so haunting. The image of perfect neutrality, the spotless reputation, the quiet mountain nation, all while one of history's darkest financial secrets sat hidden underground for decades. And the truth is, this is only one chapter. Because the deeper you look into world history, the more you realize many nations have hidden stories they rarely teach openly. Stories involving stolen wealth, secret experiments, forced disappearances, indigenous oppression, war crimes, government cover-ups, and financial systems built on suffering. Some of the countries seen today as the most civilized and peaceful have histories that would shock millions if fully exposed. And on this channel, we are going to uncover them. The stories they sanitized, the scandals buried beneath textbooks, the facts many people were never told. Because history becomes dangerous when only the comfortable parts survive. So if you made it to the end of this video, you already know this channel is different. And trust me, the stories coming next are even more disturbing. There are hidden histories involving Canada, Australia, Norway, the United States, and other powerful nations that most people have never fully heard. Stories so shocking they sound fictional until you realize they actually happened. So before you leave, drop a comment right now and tell us, what hidden historical story should we investigate next? And if you know a factual dark history most people never talk about, comment it below. Your comment could become our next documentary. Also share this video right now, because the more people see these stories, the harder it becomes for history to stay buried. And subscribe if you want the untold side of world history the textbooks avoided, because the next story might be even darker than this one.